And now, a WFXR News special presentation, Veterans Voices, honoring those who serve.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening for our 2023 Veterans Voices special. I'm Jermaine Ferrell.
And I'm Hazelmarie Anderson. Over the next half hour, we will hear stories from our veterans across our region. And of course, we can't start without recognizing our own.
Who's that young guy?
Oh, that's you. Honestly, we just have to say on behalf of WFXR, we have to say thank you, Jermaine, for your service.
Well, Hazelmarie, you know, it's been an honor serving 10 years in the Army, growing those tight bonds with fellow soldiers. It was awesome, and I appreciate your kind words as always.
Well, this will be the first Veterans Day without Ed Thompson, known to many as Mr. William Fleming. Thompson passed away on March 13th at the age of 83.
Now, Hazelmarie, before he worked among the students at William Fleming, Ed Thompson served as an Army soldier. Now, before he passed, I got a chance to get a better understanding and a dedication to William Fleming athletics that he has over the years.
My gracious, I call him Mr. William Fleming. He meant so much to William Fleming athletics. He was a supporter from the beginning to the end. I tell you, there's no person like Ed Thompson. He would do anything and everything to help these student athletes here at William Fleming High School, and that would make him so important for us to have around.
Before Ed Thompson spent 26 years on working hard for William Fleming Athletics, he spent 6 years serving his country in the U.S. Army in the 1960s. He then worked for 31 years for the city of Salem before retiring. But Coach Ed was known for his dedication to the William Fleming Colonels athletic teams. Since 1997, it was his calling to do anything and everything for the Colonels. This past season, former Fleming head football coach Jamar Lovelace nominated Thompson as a Friday Night Blitz unsung hero. Colonels head boys basketball coach Mickey Hardy shared one of the reasons why he was Fleming's unsung hero.
Ed liked to carry everything. He don't want nobody to take anything. He's going to carry it. So I'm saying to myself, Ed can't carry all that stuff. So Ed said, Coach, I got to go back into the locker room and pick up something. So when he went back in the locker room, I snuck down the hall and picked up a couple of bags and got on the bus. So Ed got on the bus. He was livid. Who got those bags? Where's my bags at? I said, Coach Ed, I picked them up. Coach, you know I was supposed to take those bags. I said, Ed, I got it this time. Well, just this time. Next time, I will take those bags, Coach. I said, you got them next time, Ed.
Right now, the William Fleming Colonels football team, they play their home games right here on campus on Fern Cliff on an artificial turf surface. But many moons ago, the William Fleming Colonels, they played their home football games at the old Victory Stadium. And that was a grass, mud, dirt field. And let me tell you something, for Coach Ed Thompson, the challenge was on to get the uniforms clean and looking practically brand new. Just one of the special challenges that Coach Ed Thompson didn't mind doing. One of the special stories you heard about Coach Ed.
The only thing I did know about Ed was the fact that he loved and cared about William Fleming athletics. And if you had a picture to put on a board somewhere, it should be of Ed Thompson, Mr. William Fleming.
Now, Ed Thompson was laid to rest this past April at the Southwest Virginia Veterans Cemetery in Dublin, but for those in William Fleming Nation, he will always be known as Mr. William Fleming.
Well, a special therapy is available to veterans, and it could actually be considered music to your ears. WFXR's Amanda Kenny shows us how the Salem VA Medical Center is using music to help veterans find the light in very dark places.
It's a really good, it's more of a loose anchor.
Army and National Guard veteran Jonathan Constantine.
It doesn't hold me in place, but it lets me move a little if I start having issues with depression.
Found music therapy at the Salem VA Medical Center 6 months ago.
I wouldn't be here if I wasn't able to come up here.
It changed his life.
Unimaginable how much it helps.
Jonathan made weekly visits where he does more than just play music.
It's a very nice distraction. It's something you can sit down and your body can physically do, and you can listen while you work things out. And a lot of times I don't work things out, but it still calms and centers me.
Music therapy is using music to reach non-musical goals.
Connor Capron is one of 2 music therapy interns Jonathan worked with.
Music covers all sorts of emotions and can be worked towards various different domains outside of emotion.
They worked on Jonathan's banjo skills.
Up one more.
Something brand new to him.
With the banjo, you can just really pick it up and you feel the vibrations, especially with the bass. Even when it's not plugged in, just the feeling of the vibrations in the instrument, it's calming.
Music is one of the most powerful things that you can use.
Music therapy intern Emily McGarvey worked with Jonathan on the bass.
It's really a grounding tool for a lot of people. You feel the vibrations and you get really connected to the instrument. It's taking over your entire brain, so you can't have those intrusive thoughts.
Music therapy is clinical and evidence-based. It's given Jonathan more than he ever thought was possible.
It gives you something to think about rather than just naming off things that you like. My mother would miss me. But when you look at it as something for yourself that I do really enjoy playing and I am getting better, if I do something like that, then I take that joy away from myself and gives you something to fight for besides just everyone else.
And Jonathan will keep fighting to make sure that music never stops. In Salem, Amanda Kenny, WFXR News.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Now, developing future leaders, one Hill City veteran is trading the battlefield for the classroom. His assignment is a personal one to teach, train, and encourage the next generation of potential service members. WFXR's Amari Williams shares his story from Lynchburg.
Service and sacrifice has always been in now retired Lieutenant Colonel Leslie Pratt's blood. He followed in the footsteps of his father, a 44-year member of the Air Force.
I'd always been exposed to the military, and I knew from a young age that I wanted to join. And then on my 17th birthday in 1979, I raised my right hand and took an oath and joined up myself.
From that point on, the rest was history, Pratt serving a total 33 years in uniform.
I've got a lot of fond memories about military service, but I think probably the most exciting anyway were on deployments downrange, and I got to see a lot of impressive people in action down there.
But Pratt tells me what he does now as the aerospace science instructor for EC Glass's Air Force Junior ROTC program is his most rewarding military experience.
It gives me an opportunity to invest back into my community and an opportunity to expose these younger cadets into military and aviation careers.
One of the lessons Pratt decides to teach his cadets is that military isn't the only option, saying the education and skills that they learn in their junior ROTC program could lead to multiple paths. That's something his cadets tell me is very meaningful to them.
I was one of those kids who believe that if you do JROTC, you do have to enlist, and him talking about it made me realize that you don't have to, and it's really nice to hear all the options we have.
For those that do plan to join, they say the skills they're learning under Pratt will be invaluable.
It makes me realize the seriousness of it, but also with the the misconceptions that are told or that you hear, that you get the real deal from them because they've experienced it, obviously. So it's a big impact.
Pratt says it's up to him now to set the example like his father did for him. Some of his favorite moments are hearing from his old students.
There's a lot of pay and benefits being in the teaching profession, but I think the biggest reward that we get is when these students do come back and thank us for what they did, and it's hard to put a price on that.
In Lynchburg, Amari Williams, WFXR News.
Thank you so much, Amari. Coming up next on Veterans Voices, the military and the gridiron. The veteran making contributions for the UVA football team and the unique lives of student athletes at VMI.
The trip of a lifetime, how local veterans were celebrated for the Central and Southwest Virginia Honor Flight. You're watching Veteran Voices.
Veterans Voices, honoring those who serve. Sponsored by Easy Mobility Solutions, Davenport Energy, Okies Funeral Service and Crematory, and Frontline Eurosports. Now, back to Veterans Voices, honoring those who serve.
And welcome back to our Veterans Voices special. A kicker for the University of Virginia is bringing a decade of military experience to the gridiron. Matt Ganyard is a 34-year-old father of two who went from flying helicopters for the Marines to kicking footballs for the Cavaliers. WFXR Sports' David de Guzman sat down for a chat with the 6th-year grad student.
This is a journey, again, more than a decade old. What explains your persistence in not giving up on this dream of playing college football, of kicking on a college football team?
Right. I think the persistence and kind of my why has adapted and changed over the years. I think, when I was an undergrad here, the why was, I wanted to prove to myself that I could do this. Go from never ever having played the sport and, being a soccer player and go teach myself and, make the team and see if I could earn a job. And then fast forwarding to my time in the Marine Corps and looking 8 years down the road, I think just having something on the horizon to really go after. And you hear a lot of yays and nays and folks supporting you and folks kind of doubting you along the way. And I think the doubters certainly help fuel that.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, a football player, what's it like to pilot a Marine helicopter? Because I guarantee you there probably aren't that many college football players who have that experience.
It's an incredible feeling. People ask me, do you miss flying? And certainly there's aspects of flying I miss, but what I really miss is flying, 10, 15 feet off the ground over open desert with a fully loaded out warfighting attack machine.
Ganyard's 10 years in the military took him all over the world. And throughout that time, the former high school soccer player maintained a burning desire to play football, practicing his kicks wherever he could.
I think it was a good stress reliever. If I had a long day, I could swing by the field on base for 20, 30 minutes, have some kicks, get out some aggression, do some kickoffs, and go about my day.
How has your time in the military also shaped your perspective as a football player? I feel like you wouldn't have traded anything that you've done in the last 16 years to have had this moment.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I wouldn't change a thing. This is exactly how I think my story was supposed to be written, with the opportunities and the setbacks I've had along the way. But I think, the military's allowed me to gain some great leadership opportunities that I've been able to hopefully bring to the locker room on and off the field. Yeah, I wouldn't have changed a thing looking back from, that first denial as a second year to, making it as a 6th year at 34.
Our thanks to David de Guzman. Now, you can learn more about Matt Ganyard's 16-year journey to becoming a college football kicker by visiting our website, WFXRTV.com.
From a veteran who came back to college football to a pair of student athletes who will serve our country one day. WFXR's Brandon Van Sickle introduces us to a pair of VMI football players with leadership positions on and off the field.
The Virginia Military Institute is no ordinary college.
I would say whether you're an athlete or not here, your lifestyle is pretty hectic, pretty busy. A lot of people don't get much sleep here, but it all pays off.
When it comes to Saturday afternoons in the fall at Foster Stadium, there's a sense of pageantry involved. Before every home game, VMI's Corps of Cadets marches out onto Alumni Memorial Field, and this year, some of those cadets are being led by a couple of senior football players.
So I'm the 1st Battalion Commander of the Corps. We operate as a regiment, so there's 3 battalions. I'm the commanding officer of the 1st Battalion, which is about 400 cadets, and I'm in charge of about 1/3 of the school.
Yeah, so I'm the regimental commander, cadet first captain of the Corps Cadets, which is the highest ranking cadet within the Corps. Being the regimental commander, you have a lot of responsibilities. You're responsible for what the Corps does and what the Corps fails to do.
Being a student athlete is hard enough, juggling the work that you put in on the field with the work that's required in the classroom, and these guys take it a step further.
Normally we'll have classes all day long, mixed in with maybe some military time in the morning. And then when 4 o'clock hits, it's football time. And then right around 8 o'clock when we finish practice, that's when it becomes academic time.
Head coach Danny Rocco is in his 1st year leading the cadets, but don't worry, his upperclassmen are making sure that he doesn't step out of line.
So I'm the newest guy here when it comes to understanding the military, the language, the post, how things operate. And Mark and Justin and other guys have really helped bridge the gap for me.
Trying to set Coach up, especially being his 1st year, for success, it's definitely been something that the seniors, myself and Justin, have tried to strive for and and push for so that we as a team can be successful.
And while the team is, of course, focused on winning games on the field, Coach Rocco says there's more to it at VMI.
The thing that is so special for me is I'm interacting with people at work who served our country. And the commandant staff and General Wins, and these guys, they served our country. Then I'm actually coaching young people who will be serving our country.
That was Brandon Van Sickle reporting. Mark says when he graduates, he plans to commission into the U.S. Army either as a signal officer or a cyber officer. And Justin also plans to commission into the Army. He would like to be a med evac pilot or work in military intelligence.
Coming up next on Veterans Voices, giving local heroes the trip of a lifetime. We take a look back at this year's Central and Southwest Virginia Honor Flight.
Veterans Voices, honoring those who serve. Sponsored by Easy Mobility Solutions, Davenport Energy, Okies Funeral Service and Crematory, and Frontline Eurosports. Now, back to Veterans Voices, honoring those who serve.
Welcome back to Veteran Voices. Now, a few weeks ago, WFXR accompanied local veterans on the Central and Southwest Virginia Honor Flight.
And WFXR's Rhiannon Lowndes explains why the Honor Flight is an incredible opportunity for America's heroes and why veterans say it's one of the best experiences of their lives.
Monuments, memorials. That's what's advertised on Honor Flight. But when veterans get off that bus, what they come away with is camaraderie.
What this reminded me was the camaraderie, the friendship among vets. That whenever you travel, wherever you're at, wherever you're stationed at, you have a family. And that's what we had here.
Central and Southwest Virginia's Honor Flight picks veterans up at the National D-Day Memorial in Bedford on Friday and takes them to D.C. for a weekend they'll never forget.
It's one of the highlights of my lifetime. If I put 10 highlights there, like marriage, children surviving cancer, just making it back from Vietnam alive, this is in the top 10.
Surrounded by people with the same pasts, but all experiencing something totally new together. Age, service, and mobility shouldn't stop a veteran from going on the trip of a lifetime.
I worried about the logistics and all the problems, always trying to think of that. And if I known then what I know now, I would have just celebrated and not worried about a thing. Because everything imaginable was taken care of, from the support people to guardian people to all the vets. It was just wonderful to be there and be part of it.
Vets can apply on cswvahonorflight.org. Honor Flight is free to veterans. Rhiannon Lowndes, WFXR News.
And thank you so much, Rhiannon. Well, it's the trip of a lifetime, not just for the veterans, but for those, Hazelmarie, who tag along.
That's right. Every veteran that travels with a guardian on that trip, well, loved ones can actually apply to be a guardian. However, you must pay for your own expenses.
Indeed. Well, next on Veterans Voices, a local weekly support group for veterans, where the group meets every week to share stories over a slice. You're watching Veterans Voices.
Veterans Voices, honoring those who serve. Sponsored by Easy Mobility Solutions, Davenport Energy, Okies Funeral Service and Crematory, and Frontline Eurosports. Now, back to Veterans Voices, honoring those who serve.
And welcome back to our Veterans Voices special, Food for Thought, Brothers and Sisters of Battle, gathering to break bread and share stories of their time serving our country.
That's right. I actually got a chance to sit down with a group of veterans who made it a tradition to meet in Vinton and share more than just a bite to eat.
Order number 10. Every Wednesday, you'll find a group of friends at New York Pizza in Vinton.
And it's great to be with people that I can open up to, that I can share things with.
Wow. Like many veterans, Paula suffers from PTSD. This fellowship with her friends means more than sharing a slice.
We went through the trials and tribulations involved in the military, some good, some bad, and we can share that.
For more than 7 years, veterans from different branches have gathered.
Makes me feel privileged that, that they actually, they love our pizza, and well, the veterans served our country, and we gotta, at least give something back to them.
World War II Navy veteran Marion Knowles says his ship supplied the flag in the iconic photo of Iwo Jima.
We were sitting at the base of the mountain, and they had raised a small flag signifying that they had captured the mountain, Mount Suribachi, and the officer up there said, "This flag is so small it cannot be seen from the island. Go down to a ship and see if you can't find a larger one." Well, the guy that they sent down came aboard. Our communication officer furnished him with a large flag that he had picked up at Pearl Harbor.
For Marion, Wednesdays mean spending time with his son and other veterans.
That's good. I mean, at 98 years old, how much longer will he be here? And I enjoy having the time to spend with him.
Different generations of veterans reunite weekly for a bit of camaraderie over a bite to eat. Well, if you are a veteran and you want to grab a slice with your fellow comrades, well, you can join them at New York Pizza in Vinton every Wednesday at noon.
A great job on that story, Hazelmarie, and that's all the time we have. On behalf of Nexstar and WFXR, we would like to extend our thanks to all the veterans. Your work and sacrifice has not gone unnoticed. Your country owes you so much more.
And to see more stories of our local veterans, you can just head to our website, WFXRTV.com.
Thank you so much for joining us for our Veterans Voices special. I'm Jermaine Ferrell.
And I'm Hazelmarie Anderson. Have a good rest of your day.